What's up guys, Dan here. Hope you guys are doing absolutely amazing today. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how to think and attract wealth. Now, this might sound crazy to you, but trust me, it's probably going to be one of the most life-changing videos that you've ever seen in your entire life, because I'm going to talk about what made me successful, what got me my dream life. And if you apply the principles that I'm going to talk about in this video, if you apply the success principles, if you learn how to control your own mind, and if you learn how to think and really think and visualize your dream life in order to get it, trust me, you're going to be coming back to this video in 6 to 12 months without a doubt. You're going to leave a comment and you're going to be like, Dan, my whole life completely changed. And that's only if you believe in what I say here, because in my life, the past year I went from completely broke, from zero, all the way to making multiple 7 figures a year in online business. I've got this amazing audience, I've got this amazing personal brand, and honestly my life has completely changed because of the principles I'm going to talk about in this video, and because of the techniques in controlling my mind and controlling my thoughts and visualizing and painting big dreams and big goals. So wherever you are in your life, everything in your life right now is a result of your past thoughts. Every single situation you put yourself in, every single, circumstance that you have in your life right now, every single bad thing or every single, thing that has happened to you, you played a role in it. See, the one difference between rich people and poor people is that poor people are victims of circumstance. Poor people, and I'm talking about the 98%, because we're splitting up the world into the 2% and the 98%. 98% of the world is going to, sadly amount to nothing. They're just going to, live their average life as if they've never lived. They're going to live their, mediocre life, and they're going to die as if they've never even existed, making absolutely no difference in the world, living just a very mediocre average life and settling for average. But there is a part of the population, and we're talking about the, the people that really, went out and used the principles that I'm going to talk about in this video and really believed in themselves, went out on their own and followed their dreams, all the way. Those people are in the 2%. It's, it takes a very special kind of person to have the courage and the bravery to go out and fight for their dreams and, go out on their own, because it's a lonely game. And typically in these 2%, there's a reason that most of them are entrepreneurs. You see people like, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, all of these great, startup founders, right, as society knows them, right? People think that they're ultra brilliant, and they probably are, for sure, I'm not denying that. But in reality, what they did was they learned how to control their mind, okay? That's what they learned how to do. They learned how to control their thoughts, and they learned how to, pave their way and have tunnel vision, in terms of their thoughts, in order to get from point A to point B being, point A being where they are right now, and point B being their dream life, like their exact visualization. For example, Elon Musk, he wants to land humans on Mars, right? Right now, he's going at it with tunnel vision. He's been going at it with tunnel vision for so long, and because it's such an insane dream, and nobody else has the courage, basically, other than Elon, to pursue it to the fullest, I have absolutely no doubt that he will achieve it, because he's actually controlling his mind. Now, how do you control your mind? The first thing that you must understand, and you have to believe this, like really, really believe this, is that everything is based on your past thoughts. You literally are what you think. And whatever you focus on, it can be either bad or good, right? Your life will get there eventually. And then, you get in that situation, even if it's good, if it's bad, and you wonder how the hell it happened. Well, that's just because, with the illusion of time, right? Because when you think of something, obviously, if I think of, me being a billionaire or something, it's not gonna, like that, and I'm a billionaire, or else everything you would think, and then, let's say you think of, falling off a bridge or something like that, in an instant you're falling off the bridge. Time is the only thing that separates your thoughts from actually manifesting in the physical, and actually, happening in your life. You see, your mind is the most powerful tool that the universe has ever given you. And you can call the universe whatever you want. You can call it God, or you can call it the universe. I like to call it the universe, right? But whatever your beliefs are, it's the same thing. Your mind can be your greatest ally or your greatest enemy. It's 50-50. It's a double-sided coin, and you have to choose which one. The thing is that thinking positive is a lot harder than thinking negative. Thinking negatively is super easy, and that's why 98% of people live negative, average lives. Because when you think of, for example, let's say, you set yourself a goal. A lot of people are overweight nowadays, right? And New Year's resolution, they set themselves a goal of, losing 10 pounds, for example, right? So their mind, first week, okay, awesome, positive thoughts, they're moving, they've lost, 5 pounds or 4 pounds or whatever. And then they step on the scale one time and suddenly, they're back, they're close to their original weight. And so suddenly all of the self-doubt comes in, all of the negative thoughts come in, and they don't do anything to resist them. You actually have to resist them, especially at the beginning stages, because eventually it actually gets easier. And I'm here to tell you that it gets easier to, not think negative thoughts. So, what they do is they revert back to default. You're a human, and humans, make mistakes, and humans are prone to fear and things like that. And that's why you have to control and you have to really, 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 really believe in yourself and just, resist all negative thoughts and resist all self-doubt, because everything is created in your mind. Like every single problem that you have in your life is just in your mind. If you literally forget about it, so imagine a bathtub, and this is actually Warren Buffett's technique. I read in his biography, Snowball, which is a great book if you guys are interested in investing and just, learning about a famous entrepreneur, Warren Buffett. He's like one of the greatest investors in the world, if you aren't familiar. So basically what he did was to control his mind, and you see every single successful person has done this. They've learned to control their mind. So Warren Buffett, whenever he had negativity coming into his life, whenever he started thinking negative thoughts, he'd catch himself, he'd imagine the thoughts in a bathtub. So imagine the water's full in the bathtub, and he would imagine just unplugging the drain. And then as soon as he unplugged the drain, whoosh, all of the water would just disappear, and then, there'd be no more negative thoughts. I bet if you ask every single successful person, every single great person, for example, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, anybody who's actually accomplished something and left a legacy, they will tell you that they've learned to master their thoughts. It's literally the most important thing, because if you don't learn how to master your thoughts, everything in your life is going to crumble. I've discovered this myself. The reason why, there are so many people end up in these negative situations is because they're weak-minded. Society is weak-minded. Society just is weak in mind. But one of the most important realizations that I've had in my life was that all problems, all possible limitations, they're made up in my mind. And once you realize that, you set yourself free. Because now you can literally achieve anything you want. Like if you want to land people on Mars just like Elon, I'm sure you can. If you go at it with tunnel vision and focus. Obviously there are certain people, like Elon, who have that strength of, learning this stuff. So he learned rocket science reading books, so he has the strength of reading books and studying things and just learning things and mastering things. So you've got to play on your strengths as well. And you've got to figure out where your strengths are. There's a couple of great tests, like StrengthsFinder 2.0, and basically the premise is these kinds of tests, so they're called Myers-Briggs tests, they're based on Myers-Briggs test. It's a famous personality test. They will tell you where your strengths are. Each person watching this video is amazing at a couple things. You have to discover what those things are, and you have to pursue them all the way. You have to literally apply them. Like for example, me, I can never be as good as Michael Jordan at playing basketball. Michael Jordan can literally, practice basketball once a year and still be a million trillion times better than me. Even if I'm practicing 8 hours every single day, for 10 years. Michael Jordan will still be better than me if he only practices once a year. Alright, so, because his strength is basketball. And actually, I'm pretty sure in his biography, it talked about how he tried baseball and he sucked at baseball. And that's when he realized he should really stick to his strength and go all the way. And that was obviously basketball. So how do you actually start rewiring your brain? The most important thing you can do is to learn the proven success principles that the 2% of the world that have actually achieved something and are great at what they do and are actually leaving a legacy. You can learn those success principles. They're literally laws. For example, this is just one of the many, right? But you have to really work and rewire your brain, and I'll tell you how to do that. But one of these principles is, failure is required for success. So, obviously, most people, they think, they get to their first failure and they give up, right? Meanwhile, the successful person is going to get through 10,000 failures, just like Thomas Edison, who, is responsible for electricity. He invented 10,000 things without giving up and being persistent before he actually got to his major success. And so right now, you're probably starting off with the wrong genetic programming. You've been programmed by your family, by society, into literally being average and being poor, right? And so you have to completely change that programming. You've got to rewire yourself completely. And in my experience, it will take you about a year. It took me about a year of hardcore, relentless studying. And that's because I made time for it. I had time and I made time for it, and I'm young. And I read a bunch of books. I started reading all these books. I became obsessed with rewiring my brain, and I started to realize that society and, family and things like that, and even your friends, they hold you back. It's kind of like the crabs in a bucket. If you've heard of the crabs in a bucket analogy, basically, you can watch a video of it on YouTube actually. It's an actual thing. If there's like 20 crabs in a bucket and one of them, starts climbing out of the bucket, right? Just one of them, the rest of the crabs are just gonna keep pulling him down. And that's because, they don't know better. They think that it's dangerous out there for him. Here's a brief list of books that have helped me the most in rewiring my brain. And I think the very first book is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It's like the most basic book, and it talks about how, what I was talking about, you've been pre-programmed genetically and by society and by your family to be poor, right? And so that book kind of exposes you to what's going on. And then after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, I would recommend reading Millionaire, Fastlane by Demarco. Just go and find these books on Amazon. They're there, and buy them. So Millionaire, Fastlane by Demarco is truly amazing. I read this in a crucial, part of my life. It's a literal guide into what you need to do to have financial freedom and to get rich. All right, so Millionaire Fastlane by Demarco, it still blows my mind to this day, and I try to read it once a year. Unscripted by Demarco is also amazing. It goes more in depth. It's a bigger book, and it goes more in depth into like the scam of the 9 to 5 and things like that, and also talks about what to do with your money after you actually get rich and have abundance and wealth. And then the next book I would read is The Magic of Thinking Big. I don't know the author, but it's probably gonna be on the screen here. I'm gonna put a picture of it. It's an amazing book. It's just a summary of like all the success principles, and the main message is that you are what you think, so think big, right? So why think small when it's literally gonna take you the exact same effort, let's say to make $10 million, than it will be to make $100,000. Of course, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, absolutely amazing. These books completely changed my life. Think and Grow Rich is a more in-depth version of what I'm talking about in this video and the Law of Attraction. A couple other great ones are Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi. It's the dude you always see in the ads. You can get that book for free. He actually lives somewhere around here. Haven't met him yet, but he's a great guy. And I read his book. It's an absolutely amazing book. It talks about exactly what I'm talking about in this video. And lastly, I would read biographies. So the biographies that I personally read were Total Recall by Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's his biography. Also, Elon Musk I read, and I'm actually going to read Richard Branson, who created Virgin, obviously Virgin Airlines. So, you want to read biographies because they will show you that they're actually ordinary people. All these people that we think are so great and talented, they're actually ordinary people that just apply what I'm talking about in this video, all the success principles, and they've learned to control their mind to a definite goal. And lastly, whether you like him or not, Tai Lopez 67 Steps, it's a program that actually I listened to a year ago. It's like 67 bucks or something. If you don't know who Tai Lopez is, and I'm sure that you know, he's a Lamborghini guy, but he's got this amazing program, right? And it literally changed my life, like completely. And I'm not getting paid by Tai, I don't know him, so I'm just telling you, if you are just getting started, and if you need something to listen to in the car when you're driving to work, you're still at your 9 to 5, or if you're walking your dog or something, I would listen to Tai Lopez 67 Steps. You just plug it in, and it's him talking about it's 67 episodes, and in each episode he teaches you lessons, and the whole purpose of it is to rewire your brain into thinking like a millionaire would and like a billionaire. So I've listened to the whole thing 3 times in total, from start to finish, all 67 steps, and I can say that that thing was worth its weight 100 million times over in gold. So once you've rewired your brain, and now you know the success principles, and now your brain is set for achievement and living your best life and really achieving whatever you set your mind to, persistently and at all costs, now you must choose a destination. So I want you right now to pause this video, close your eyes, and just really dream and paint a vivid visualization of your dream life. What would you be doing? What would you be doing? What kind of car would you be driving, or cars? What kind of vacations would you be taking? Where would you be traveling? Any like exotic locations, right? Hawaii or Bora Bora or the Maldives or something like that. So really just pause this video and just take 5 or 10 minutes and really visualize, and you want to make it as clear as possible. And you also want to visualize exactly how much money is in your bank account, exactly how much money you are making, what your income is per year, right? And you want to visualize this maybe in a year, or maybe in 2 years, or in a couple of years. So just look ahead. I would say 1, 2, 3 years, 5 years. Don't go too far. But just really paint a clear, vivid visualization of exactly how your life is going to be, if you had everything you wanted, if you had your dream life. I did this a year ago once. I've learned to do this, and I've literally, like everything that, from my visualization came true, and it was 10,000 times better. So I'm guaranteeing you that the same thing will happen to you. So now you must hold this visualization, and you must literally visualize this every single day. Whenever your default state must be, whenever you're like not doing anything, you want to revert. Let's say you're waiting in a doctor's office or something. You want to revert to visualizing this in your mind. Just visualize and just imagine you're already there. Imagine you're already living your dream life. And what happens is your subconscious mind, the feelings that you get are, positive emotions. Obviously, your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between what you visualize and what's actually going on in your life. So here's actually proof for that. So right now, again, and I know I'm making you guys do a lot of visualization here, but close your eyes right now and listen to me. So imagine you're at the top of a super tall building, 100 floors, right at the top on the roof, and you're standing on the edge of a super tall building in Manhattan, New York, all right, and you're looking down. All right, just really vividly imagine, and you can hear like the wind, and you can hear the taxis and stuff down there, and cars honking and stuff. And so what happens? Your palms are probably getting sweaty, and you're probably feeling a little bit uneasy, and that's because your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between your visualization and what's actually going on. And that's literal proof that your thoughts get you to where you want to go, or the opposite way. So now that you know how to think and attract wealth, you want to make sure that you filter out all negativity in your daily life. You really need to always be thinking positively. So stop watching the news. I don't watch the news anymore. If you notice, and after hearing this, you'll see that it's all negativity. Stop watching the news. Stop listening to negative people. If someone's, complaining about something, just leave. If someone's trying to put you down, just leave. It's all under your control, all right? That's the whole point of it. It's internal locus of control. And lastly, one of the things that has helped me the most, and I want you to start doing this as well, is start writing down your goals every single morning and every single night. And you want to write them down as if you're already there, you've already achieved them. So for example, one of my goals is to make $2 million in profit by the end of 2018, right? And I'm well on my way to that, actually, above that. But, when I wrote the goal first, a year ago, I wrote it like this: I'm so happy now that I'm making $2 million in profit by the end of 2018. Right? And what happens is, your subconscious can't tell the difference, and you start feeling the emotions, of already getting there, and that actually helps manifest it into, reality. Right? And I would recommend listening to music as well. Just listen to, some of your favorite music while you're writing down your goals. And you want to write down your goal one time, but write each goal down one time as if you've already achieved it, and do this every morning, every night, or at least do this every morning, right? But don't get lazy with this, just be persistent and watch, they'll happen so fast. And you want to make sure that there's a time limit as well, because if you don't, give a time limit, then it's not going to happen, or it's going to happen way later than you expected. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I really put in my all, and I want you guys to know that this video right here, if you master what I taught in this video, how to control your mind, you will get anything you want in your life. You'll be living your dream life in no time. You can come back to this video and you can say, Dan, everything you said was true, and it completely changed my life. So, in 6 to 12 months. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys are into passive income, online business, motivation, entrepreneurship, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. You can follow me on social media. You can reach out to me, Snapchat, Instagram. Links for those are down below right here. And yeah, I try to answer every single person. Love hearing people's stories. So yeah, anyway, guys, once again, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.